we up till now have seen what artificial intelligence is, why artificial intelligence now. Then we started with why Python and why Python now, and we also covered the basics of Python. So today's agenda is we have seen the basics of Python, and now we have to go towards data science because Python is used everywhere. It is used in backend, it is used in mobile development, it is used in DevOps, it is used in web development, it is used in, so it has multiple applications. So we are gonna see some libraries which are specific to data science. So those libraries which we'll be covering today are pandas, numpy, and matplotlib. These are the most basic libraries which you need to know to be to start working into data science. These are the much basic libraries. In visualization perspective, we have somewhat more advanced than matplotlib. We have seaborn. Then much more, if you're not satisfied with the visualization which Seaborn is giving, if you want things in much more detail, then we have when we have tools like Tableau, we have tools like ClickView, ClickSense, we have Power BI. So currently in industry, when you talk about visualization, people use Tableau, people use ClickView or ClickSense. I don't recall. One of them is paid, so the paid one people use. Power BI is something which Microsoft has given, and that is used by industry. So where is Matplotlib and Seaborn comes in picture? Matplotlib and Seaborn comes in picture when the data scientists want to see the visualization. When we want to see how the data looks and how it is appearing, when we want to do our analysis, that is where the visualization from Matplotlib and Seaborn comes in picture. But whenever it is like client-facing visualization, you want to show it to the client, you want to show it to the entire world. Tools like Tableau, tools like ClickView, ClickSense, these guys comes in picture. Then the other thing is numeric Python and pandas. So pandas is for, okay, we have 33 participants. I think we can get started. I think we are almost done with 10 minutes. We can get started. So yeah, I told you about Matplotlib, and now I'll tell you about numeric Python and pandas. So numeric Python stands for, sorry, NumPy and pandas. So NumPy stands for numeric Python. And why do we needed numeric Python? If we already have data structures like dictionary, we already have data structures like dictionary, list, tuples, which do most of our stuff. So why do we need numeric Python? Why can't we just store our entire data into a dictionary and do our data science stuff on it? The reason for it is the computational speed. The computational speed which we get by using the ND array data structure, which is provided as by NumPy, is much more quicker than the other data structures like dictionary, list, tuples. We can do all the data science stuff by using these structures also. We can store our data into dictionary and we can run machine learning algorithms on them. But the point being is the ease of use and the processing computational efficiency also. In machine learning, the computational power is lot. The algorithms are very computationally heavy. So for that, thinking those things into consideration, libraries like NumPy came in picture. And that is where the applying machine learning comes by putting the data into form of an ND array. So ND array stands for n-dimensional array. So n-dimensional array was the data structure which is internally used by every machine learning algorithm, and on that data structure, all the algorithm runs. So that is when NumPy comes in picture. Then the other thing is pandas. We know that the data we generally see is the structured data, like Excel data. We have rows, we have columns, right? We already have SQL. We already have SQL, which kind of deals with structured data. So Python gave us pandas. If you want to do an entire coding in Python and if you want to deal with structured data, rows and columns, pandas is the most useful library. Everyone use pandas. So we use pandas for dealing with structured data. Pandas stands for panel data. What is a panel? Panel is collection of sheets. What is a sheet? If you see in an Excel, in the bottom side we have sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. So the combined thing is called a panel. Okay. And then we do our processing on that data, right? So taking that thing into consideration, we have the name as pandas. Okay. So NumPy, pandas, matplotlib. Before going to start with NumPy, pandas, we will just cover functions. We are left with functions, and we will be covering that. Okay. So let me share my screen. Okay. Host has disabled attendee screen sharing. Akshay, can you just enable my screen sharing?
Yeah, just a minute.
So this is gonna be very quick today because these are very huge topics. NumPy, pandas, matplotlib. One topic itself can take months to get covered, but this will be a very quick session. So be very attentive. Okay.
Yeah,
If you have any doubts, just ping me in chats. Okay. Because this can be a bouncer.
try now.
Okay. So let me share my screen. Okay. So is my screen visible? Can just people give me a thumbs up on chats? Yes. Yes. Yes would help a lot. Okay. Great. Thanks, Beta. Okay. 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 Let us second. Uh, so is my okay? Okay, fine. So just give me a heads up on chats if my Jupyter notebook is visible to you. Okay, great. So yeah, we can get started. Functions. So how do we write functions in Python? We write def. We write the function name. We have brackets. We have colon. And under that function, we write our statements. Indentation is very important in Python. Indentation means what? It is the spaces. If there is an indentation error, things are gonna fail. So indentation is very important. So this is a simple function which I've written, which is printing me hello people. Okay. Then I have one more function which is I've just written a simple for loop, and I'm printing the numbers. I'm printing the numbers from 1 to 12. Okay. Let me see if it works. Great. So okay, no, I'm not printing it. I'm kind of adding them up. I'm kind of adding them up, and after that I'm just printing out the result. Okay. So we have a return statement which kind of returns the output of the function. Okay, simple function. We okay. Why do we need functions? Because we need, if we want to execute that piece of code many times. So it is always nice to modularize that code into a function and run that code. So we will just call that simple function, and we will run that piece of code for different types of data lots of time. Okay. So basic functions. So we can pass default arguments into a function. So here I have passed value of y is equal to 50. Okay. Here value of phi is fixed to 50, which is my default argument, and the value of x is being taken as 10 in here. So whenever I will be passing just a single value, the other value will be by default as 50. That is my default arguments. Okay. Then I have keyword arguments. Instead of passing it a default value, I will be passing it as a keyword value. Okay. So my first name is Python here. The last name is Love here. Okay. So I love Python. As you can see, I've interchanged the sequence, and accordingly the function works for it. So these are my keyword arguments. Okay. So now the other thing is variable arguments. So sometimes we don't know the amount of arguments which we are going to pass to a function. So at that time, this variable argument parameter comes in play. Okay. So the first function stands for simple variable argument, and the other one stands for keyword variable arguments. Okay. So as you can see in the first one, I have passed set of strings here. Hello, welcome to Tech Amplifiers. And the second word it is as keyword pair. First Python, middle is, and last is love. So when I don't know the amount of or parameters and the arguments which the function is going to receive, I'll be using this thing, variable arguments and keyword arguments. Okay, simple. So we first saw what a simple function is. Then we saw how to pass default arguments. Then we saw how to pass keyword arguments. Then we saw how to pass variable arguments and variable keyword arguments. Now, what is lambda function? Lambda function is anonymous function. When you don't want to give a name to the function, we call it an anonymous function. We call it a lambda function. Lambda functions are very useful in data science. Whenever you want to do any pre-processing stuff onto a single row, why do write a piece of code in functions, right? If I have a data 2 3 4 5 and I want a square root of the data, I'll just write a simple lambda function there. I'll do a simple apply on it, and that function gets applied on my typical column. That is how lambda function are very helpful. They are very helpful when it comes to writing small pieces of code. Okay, so here I've just written a simple lambda function for finding the cube. Okay, and it just gives me a cube. So this is what it is in functions. So before starting with NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib, any doubt in functions? Any doubt in functions? I know it will go in a very speed way because the topics are very huge, and we'll try, but we will try our best to try to make it as good as possible quality wise and as slow as possible so that even a beginner will understand. Okay, so just give me a heads up if you're done with functions, and we can start with NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib. A ping on a simple yes would help me. Okay, great. That was of much help. Okay, great. So, as I've told you in brief, what is NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib. So, NumPy is a library of Python which is used for machine learning stuff. It defines an n-dimensional array called as ND array, and it describes the collection of items of the same types, and so it is an n-dimensional array. Try to understand this thing. It is not a simple array. It is an n-dimensional array. In machine learning, you might have heard the word of tensor. So what is a tensor? Whenever we talk about single dimension, then we have 2 dimensions, we have 3 dimensions, and then we have many dimensions. So wait, I'll do one thing. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, so is the whiteboard visible? Can anyone think, can just send give me a confirmation of yes? Okay, great, great, great. So dimensions. In matrices, we see two kind of dimensions. We have data in this way, right? In this way, we have in 2 dimensions. We have data in the form of 2D. So okay, let's try to understand in this way. Two-dimensional data. We have the x and y. Then when we include z, we have data into 3 dimensions. Okay. When we just have a single axis, then we see data into 1 dimension. Just imagine if the number of dimensions keep on growing. We have 3D, we have 4D, we have 5D, we have ND. That is the real meaning of ND. N-dimensional. N-dimensional. So the data which is used by TensorFlows and all these deep learning and machine learning libraries is an n-dimensional data. It is very hard to visualize it, but by more practicing and all, you will come to know how it exactly it is. Okay, so I just wanted to give you an understanding of what n-dimensional data is. Okay, so in dealing with this data, we have an object by default data structure in numeric Python as ND array, which is used for dealing with such kind of data. And on this n-dimensional data only the machine learning algorithms run. Okay, so we have kind of done a simple aliasing numpy as np, and d type is stands for the dimensional type of that single element into that data structure. Okay, so we have lots of d type here. We have int 32, we have int 8, we have int 16, int 64, we have unsigned 8, unsigned 16, unsigned 64. we have float, we have complex, right? So these are just the code snippets which will be helping us to understand NumPy. Okay. So we, in a first code snippet, try to understand is we have used aliasing NumPy as NP. Okay. So NP.dtype, we are trying to create an object of the D type. And what is the D type? It is int32. Just created a simple object and we are going to printing it. Okay, int32. Now these int 8, 16, 32, 64 can be replaced by I1, I2, I4. Okay, so int 8, int 16, int 32, int 64 are replaced by I1, I2, I4. Okay, so D type I4 is int 32. Okay, simple. Okay, so we can also have structured data type. Okay, so if I have a data in the form of ABC 2150, so I am creating here my own D type. Okay, so what were the default D types we had? We had these that are dimensional types which were given to us by numeric Python, but this is a structured numeric the structured D type which I have created. Okay, so I've created a structured D type of num, age, and marks. So I am passing it as ABC, my age, and my marks here. And the D type, I've named the D type as students. Okay, simple. Okay, okay. So let's start with the things which are very important. Okay, so I want to create a matrix. I want to create a 2 by 3 matrix. So this is my 2 by 3 matrix which I've been creating by using a list of a list. So as you can see, we have a list and inside that we have two lists. Okay, so let's just print the, okay, so this is my two-dimensional array here. Okay, so when I talked about n-dimensional array, this is how the two-dimensional array appears in by numeric Python. Okay, I'm just printing a shape of it. It's a 2 by 3, simple as that. Then what do? I kind of resize it. If I want to resize it array, I want it as 3 by 2. So I did a 3 by 2 instead of a 2 by 3. That gives me 3 by 2. Okay. Okay, this is the one and the same thing. Okay, so now I'll do is, okay, now see, I want to create a three-dimensional array, 2 by 4 by 3. So try to understand this. How does this 2 by 4 by 3? See, this is the 2, first and second. First and second, 2. What is 4 here? The number of rows in each section. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the number of rows. And try to analyze 3 as columns. 1, 2, 3 columns. Now just imagine if this section is behind this section. Okay. So wait a second. How to clear this? Okay. So just imagine this is my first array and this is my another array. Okay, so this is my one dimension, second dimension, and this is my third dimension, which is going in this way. So it is something like I have 4 here, right? I have 3 here, and this is my 2. I hope I'm able to clear this. This is very important. If you don't understand this, just stop me right now. Otherwise, entire numeric Python will go above head. Just ping me a yes if you understand this. Okay, no one is pinging me a yes. Okay, no. Okay, fine. No. Dheeraj says me no. Okay. Kalwani says, can you repeat me, Pranali? Okay, okay, fine, fine. I'll kind of repeat it. I'll repeat it. Oh my god. Okay, fine. Okay, great. I'll repeat it. Okay. So, okay, what we did was, let's take it slowly. I'll go step by step. Be super attentive, guys. Okay. We don't have much time into a hand. This is my data. Try to understand. This was my data. I have numbers. I have 24 numbers, 0 to 23. This is my data. Now, what do I want to do? I want to create a three-dimensional array from this one-dimensional data which I'm getting. This is a one-dimensional data, right? Yeah. I want to create a three-dimensional array. Okay. Let's see what is the shape of this data. shape is 24. 24 by 24. Simple 24 because that is how it is represented. Okay. Now I want to reshape it. I want to reshape it in the form of 2, 4 and 3. So what is 2? Try to understand. This is my 2. The first section and the पीछे का section. ये पहला वाला एक है और पीछे वाला दो है. This is my 2. Okay. What is the 4? 4 is the number of rows. Right. This is my first row, second row, third row, fourth row. This is 4. Right. Then we have 3. What is 3? Number of columns. 1, 2, 3. Number of columns. So we have 4 rows, we have 3 columns, and we have 2 things. We have 2. This is just imagine this data in the z dimension in the form of 3D object. Okay. I'll try to make it much more visualistically possible. Sorry for my drawing. Okay. This is my 4, right? 4, 3 and इसके पीछे exactly 4, 3 है. Okay. That is exactly what this is. Okay, we'll try to do a reshape here now. Okay, wait, we'll do a comment here. Samjha? This is my 4, the 4 rows I have. This is the 3 columns I had, and try to imagine the second part is first part ke piche. That is, but you cannot show that thing आगे पीछे, right? Because computer screens are 2-dimensional figure. तो इसलिए वो नीचे दिख रहा है. Okay. Someone is saying please don't talk in Hindi. Okay, fine. Okay, I'll try to keep it completely English. Okay. So do you want me to repeat once again, or kind of are we cool here? Okay, so is that no for? Okay, got it. Kalyani saying is got it. Can just ping it? Can you just ping a simple yes if you got it? Okay, Manjari Thombre is saying got it. Okay, fine. That felt like a relief. Okay, just stay super attentive, okay, because we have a lot to cover. Okay, 2, 4, 3. We are done with it. Now the next thing is creating a numpy array of zeros. So what numpy does is it gives me a simple function of zeros. Give me 5 zeros. Okay, simple. If I want to create an empty numpy array of zeros, it is giving me 5 zeros. Simple as that. Print x 5 zeros. Give me a numpy array of ones, 5 ones. Okay, simple. Now if you want to convert a list into an n-dimensional array, so there's a list 1, 2, 3, convert it into an array. This is an as array function. Okay, as array function gives me converted into a numpy list. Okay, let's see the type of this. Okay. ND array. Got it? That list has been converted into an ND array object. Okay. Now I want to create an ND array object, but of t type float. So अंदर के एलिमेंट मुझे इंटीजर नहीं चाहिए. Okay, sorry, my bad. No Hindi.
Akshay,
So
we have people from Chennai over here, so
yeah,
they will not be able
got
to
it.
understand.
Yeah, got it. Actually, by sometimes in
Yeah,
flow,
it's slow. Yeah, I can
it
understand that.
happens. Okay, I got it. So where are we? So we will be creating a numpy array of d type float. Okay, so as you can see, the first array. Okay, so it is a numpy array of integers 1 to 3. Now I have the same array of floats 1 to 3. Gotcha? Okay. Then the next thing is let's go here. Now NumPy gives me a function from iter. Now what do from iter do? It is another way of creating a numpy array. So what we are trying to do here is we are trying to see how we can create numpy arrays. Okay. So we had functions like zeros, ones. Then we have functions like as array, which is just converting a simple list into a numpy array. Okay. Then I have also have a function called from iter. So it is used for converting the iterable objects into numpy array. So list is a iterable object. Okay. Range 5 gives me an iterable list. Gotcha. And that thing is converted from iter into a numpy array from the function of from iter. Okay. Then we have one more function as a range. Okay, we have range in Python. Normal Python, we have range. In NumPy, we have a range. We also have X range. Okay, generally, like I don't use X range, but we also have X range. Then we have a range. It works the similar way as range, no difference. Okay, so I just created a range of 5 elements. Okay, then we will see. Okay, before going to linspace and log space, any doubt up till now? Whatever we have seen, any doubt, just ping me. Just ping me and stop me. Okay, Rajeshwari says no, sir. Okay, I think we are good then. I think we can go ahead. Okay, there's one more. No doubts. Great. That felt nice. Okay, so we have linspace. When do we use linspace? Now, if we have range and we want the number of elements into it, like if I want 1,000, I want 1,000 numbers in the range of 1 to 20, right? So at that time, linspace is very helpful. So here, in the range of 10 to 20, I want 5 numbers. Okay, so I'm doing it a 5. Gotcha. 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. If I pass a 50, it will give me 50 numbers. Okay, in the range of 10 to 20. Simple. Then we have log space. To the base of 2, if we want 10 numbers, so we are passing the it we want 10 numbers, right? For the base of 2. Okay, from 1 to 10. So we get it by using log space. Okay, so we know what linspace is, what log space is. The next thing is slicing. We already saw slicing and indexing into a last section. It is a similar thing, nothing different. A2 comma 5 will fetch me what is A. Okay, we have, okay, A, let's see, A which should be the first part now. Okay, A here. Okay, we have an A range here. Okay, gotcha. We are creating an A range of 10 here, right? And we are slicing it from 2 to 5. Let's print what A was. This was my video simple slicing. Okay. Okay. Now this is interesting. Now try to pay attention here. This is important. Now this I have a two-dimensional array. Okay. Now in this two-dimensional array, I'm trying to do slicing. This is a bit of complex. This is somewhat tough to understand. Just try to pay attention. Okay. Print a 1 colon. So what is 1 colon doing here? It is giving me all the rows from 1. Okay, I have 1 2 3 3 4 5 4 5 6. So it is doing a slicing from 1. It is giving me 3 4 5 and 4 5 6. 1 2 3 is skipped. Got it? Great. Then what is the next thing here? Okay, so if you want to fetch the columns, right? So what do we do? So we have our ND array as this 1 2 3. Try to imagine this as a matrix. Okay, it will be much more easier to understand. Try to think of this as a matrix, rows and columns. Okay, so I want the second column. Okay, second column. So what I do is I am just fetching it 1, and I'm okay. So it is giving me a second column. 2 4 5. It is returning me the second column 2 4 5. Okay, if I want a second row, just see it, just see the code, how I'm doing it. This will give me the second code, the second row, right? And if I want items from 1 onward, this is how we do it. Okay, so we are slicing it out here. Just think of this as a matrix. Okay, try to digest this. This will take time. If you have any doubts in this, just ping me. Clear, sir? Okay, Kirtana says clear. Okay. Okay, Shweta Jha says no doubts. Okay, great. I think we are good then. We can move to the other things. Okay, broadcasting. Broadcasting and vectorization are very important when it comes to NumPy interview questions. This is how someone wants to ask interview questions on NumPy. He will ask what is broadcasting, what is vectorization. Try to understand this. What is vectorization? In simple, it is elimination of for loop. Okay. Simple definition. Elimination of for loop is vectorization. Okay. And the other thing is broadcasting. So what is broadcasting? We will see example here. I created a first array of 1, 2, 3, 4. The other array is 10, 20, 30, 40. And I do a simple multiplication of it. It gives me an element wise multiplication. 1 into 10, 2 into 20, 3 into 30, 4 into 40. Okay. What if now here the number of elements were same in both these arrays? What if the number of elements were not same? Right. Just see my first array here. This is a 4, 3 array. There's my second array, right? So we don't have the same number of elements here. What do? We add them, and this is broadcasting itself. Now this 1, 2, 3 array is broadcasting itself to the size of its first array, and it is getting added. Okay, I'll try to explain you here how it. Very simple, not much stuff. Okay, let's see. This is not that rubber. Okay, so what we had was okay. Let's say, oh sorry. My God. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so what we had was we had an array of 4 by 3, I guess. 4 by 3, yes. We had 4 rows, we had 3 columns. Okay, and we had another array of 1, 2, 3 of single row and 3 columns. So this array kind of broadcasted itself. This array broadcasted itself, and then it got added to this array. In a very layman terms, if I want to explain you what broadcasting is. Got it? Oh, sorry. Okay. Here's a simple reshape of 4 by 2. Then yes, we can flatten the entire array. Like we saw an array and then we kind of reshaped into this form. But if you want to have the original array, we use the flatten function. Okay, the flatten function. Get back the array. And if you want to transpose, then we have transpose function. As you can see, the rows are converted into columns and the columns are converted into rows. Okay. Then okay, before going further, any doubts up till now? Oh my God, it's already 5:40. I can't believe it. Great. You can go ahead.
Akshay,
Okay.
so just a minute going forward. So
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
speed you are going is absolutely right. So don't hurry up because even means I can understand from a student's background, it may be bit difficult for them to grasp if we go much faster. Okay, well, if we need it, we can take one more lecture on this, not a problem. But try to means let them have a strong understanding of this particular thing, because I know this number is really very important from AIS perspective.
Okay, okay. So is the current speed okay, Akshay?
Just I'm not sure, so it is okay for me, but
Okay.
okay.
So
So hi everybody. So just don't be hesitative, don't be shy. Just put it into the chat box if you are facing any challenges for understanding the concepts. Okay. So it will not be like that. That other people, 3, 4 people are saying yes. It means you have to say yes. It is not like that. So if you know the funda or the people who are from my training program, they know until unless you each and every student didn't understand everything, we don't move forward. Okay, so if you have any issues, if you have any concerns with understanding, please say, because if you don't ask, answer is always no. Okay, so just if you have any doubts, please ask it into the chat box.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure. If you feel it is going fast, just ping me, okay? Just ping me. Just ping me. Just stop me there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's good for
Just
me. Means Akshay sir, you are asking about me now, so I'm able to understand what is happening, because in last month itself we did Python training row, so I know the flatten and all. So I tried those things, but so all the things
mm-hmm.
we know. I guess Python student know this, most of the things, it is not difficult for them, but the people who haven't
Mhm.
attended, like we saw there are 2-3 students asking, they haven't attended Python training, and I know the people who joined from Chennai, they might not aware, so I just want all of them to talk regarding whatever their understanding is. Okay, you
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
you can
Sure,
continue.
guys. Just stop me, okay? If you find it a bit fast, just stop me there. Okay. Okay. So the other thing is concatenation of array. Concatenation is very important because we'll be having when we play with arrays, concatenation is important. So what do we have? We have two kind of concatenation. We have horizontal concatenation and we have vertical concatenation. We also call it stacking. We call it vertical stacking and horizontal stacking. So as you can see, we have two arrays here, first and second, joining two arrays along the axis one. This is kind of vertical stacking. Okay. And the other one is horizontal stacking, concatenation. The similar thing you can do by using functions of hstack and vstack also. Okay. Vstack stands for vertical stacking and hstack stands for horizontal stacking. Okay. Okay. So appending elements to an array. Okay. So this was my array. I used a simple append function and I appended it. Now appending it with the help of the axis. You can append it below also and you can append it above also. Okay. We have axes given, axis 0 and axis 1. So you can do the appending accordingly. Okay. Gotcha.
Akshay,
The
just a minute. How did append happen?
Okay, so as you can see, the first okay, the first append is for one dimensional array. Okay, it is a single one dimensional array, and I am kind of appending 7, 8, 9 to it. Okay, so it is returning me a single one dimensional array. Then the other in the second append, as you can see, we have axis as 0. So it is appending it as a row, as a row. So as you can see, 7, 8, 9 is being appended as a row.
Okay.
Okay, and the other thing is axis 1. In axis 1 we are appending both these elements as columns. So uh, we are kind of appending columns in a column way. It's like horizontal stacking type.
Okay.
Okay,
Zero
so
is
the
x,
axis,
zero is
yeah,
x,
so
and one is y, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but don't but I'll kind of tell you that don't kind of memorize this in this way that
Okay. Okay.
0 is x and 1 is y, because what happens is in many function of pandas and many function, so not many but in some of the functions of numpy and pandas, they are used interchangeably also. So I have seen this thing, and that in some cases axis 0 is rows, where it is not columns, and in some cases axis 1 is columns, it is not rows.
Okay.
We need to play it in that way.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, yeah, got it. The other thing is deleting. Okay, so these are the functions which come with a numpy array. Uh, yeah, these are some of the functions which I kind of took in a Jupyter notebook. But if you want to see set of functions, so tutorial point is a very nice place. Tutorials point. So let's see this. So as you can see here, we have lots of functions here. Lots of functions. Sine. These are all the mathematical functions. Then we have round. We have lots of operations here. So try to explore this site, and I think the kind of content which is given on tutorials point is more than enough to get started your career in data science. This site is really nice. You can just go there and try to explore it more. Okay. So yeah, the other thing is we are seeing delete function now. So okay. So what is here? So yeah, a simple delete here. We are passing the array to it, and in the first function, as you can see, which element we want to delete. Okay, the array is flattened out, and we want to delete the fifth element. So as you can, so not the fifth element, but the value 5. So as you can see in the array, we don't have the element 5. Okay, and in other cases, we have the column 2 deleted. The column 2 is being passed as indexing 1. because we know that 0 is where indexing starts. So 0 stands for the first column, 1 stands for second column, and that is how it is deleted. So there are lots of functions. Then we have unique. So in unique, we will be getting all the unique elements of this array. So these are lots of functions: delete, unique, append, and hstack, vstack, concat. So we have seen most commonly used functions: arrange, reshape. I would really recommend you guys to explore this site, and you will see lots of functions here. And this would really help you get much more stronger in NumPy. Okay, so we are done with NumPy here. Okay, so any doubt in NumPy up till now? The next topic will be pandas. Okay, means it may be vice versa. I sorry, I didn't get it, Kalyani. Means it may be vice versa. Means what? Can you just elaborate it?
She's asking about X and Y. So the axis,
Uh,
that time she pinned.
no. See, yeah. It is vice versa. So if 0 stands for columns in a function, one will stand for row. Yeah. But see, the general trend, which is that 0 stands for row and 1 stands for column. But trust me, in pandas, in some of the functions, it's different. So it is like when the library was written, when that function was written, how it was written internally. It depends on that. So थोड़ा बहुत ऊपर नीचे होता है. Okay. Okay. Great. Any doubt in NumPy? Any doubt in NumPy? Because then we are gonna move to pandas.
Akshay sir.
Hmm.
So personally, I wanted to ask this thing that what are the applications of this NumPy? Yes, I know it is only related to mathematics and all. So what are
Hmm.
things we saw? But what is the real world application where we can use this thing? Means, anything that can help us to understand where we can use this library. Means, what all things that we can do using this library in a simpler way.
Yeah. So see, when we will see pandas. So when we see pandas, we have the data in the form of rows and columns, right? And in pandas, we have a term called series.
Mm-hmm.
So single column is being represented as a series. Okay,
Okay.
and the data of series is built on top of NumPy.
Oh.
All okay. So it is like NumPy is the heart of machine learning. NumPy
Mm-hmm.
is the heart of machine. It is like the object, the n dimensional array object. All the calculations, all the algorithms which are run on this object, n dimensional array. Okay. So even when you must have heard of TensorFlow. What is a tensor? It is an n dimensional array. That is a tensor. What is a tensor? It is n dimensional arrays. T- Tensor for me, like
Okay.
what I see is.
Mm-hmm.
So it is like NumPy n-dimensional array is a the root object on which all these functions and algorithms keep on running.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll give a much more layman example. So um, anything which is striking me. Okay, so if you consider cloth. So cloth is made from threads, right? So we currently saw threads, right? We currently saw threads, which so every cloth which we wear is made of threads, right? Whatever the fashion designing which we do is done on that threads, right? On the cloth which is made by those threads, right? So NumPy is like that thread. NumPy is like a thread, and whatever algorithms and we do are done on it. I hope I kind of gave you an idea what exactly NumPy is. NumPy is the heart of everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess it is much clearer, guys, right?
Okay. So I think we can start with pandas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Pandas stands for, okay, yeah, Akshay.
Yeah. So all of you, I can see there are 33 people over there, but I can see only few students or few participants are interacting. So I would request all of you to share either you understood it or you not, because it will help us to understand what is the flow or whether we are going right in right direction. Okay, we don't want anybody to left behind. So just type in yes or type in no whenever Akshay sir is yeah. So that's what you did, Shweta. So either you say yes or you say no. Okay, don't sit idle, because it will not help you as well as it will not help other students. Okay, so we need to know at least. Okay, so I'm expecting this kind of response. So we do it. So I guess so. I'm not expecting from the Python people at least. So, okay, so you guys don't you are not allowed to do this thing. Okay, so at least you should answer everything whatever Akshay sir is asking. Is that okay? Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. Loved your response. Thank you guys. Perfect. Go ahead.
Okay, so I think we can get started with pandas. We will be seeing some amount of pandas. I won't take your much time. It's already 6. Uh, we'll see some amount of pandas and matplotlib in the next session. We'll extend it more 15 minutes up to 6:10. Okay, and we see how much pandas we can cover. Okay, so what is pandas? Pandas is an open source Python library, and it is used for manipulating structured data. Series. What is series? It's a one dimensional labeled homogeneous array, and it is size immutable. All the terms are very heavy terms. Will go bouncer. Okay, it's okay. It's okay if these terms go bouncer. And what is data frame? It is two-dimensional labeled, size mutable tabular structure with potentially heterogeneous type columns. Okay, heterogeneous type columns means we can have multiple data. We can have a string, we can have a numeric. Homogeneous array means we can have only single kind of data into a series. Okay. So one thing is clear of homogeneous and heterogeneous. Size mutable, we can manipulate the size of the pandas. Okay. We cannot manipulate the size of series. Okay. One dimensional because just try to imagine a single column of that Excel sheet. It is just a single dimension, right? That is why it is called series. Okay, we represent columns of a structured data by using series. That's why one dimension. Pandas, sorry, data frames are two dimensional because we have rows and columns. That is why it is two dimensional. Panel, we have a third dimension which is coming in picture, and the third dimension is the sheet name. Okay, the sheet name is a third dimension which comes in picture. Okay, I'll just show it on a whiteboard, but I think it is very much clear. I will show you on the official documentation site only. Okay. Okay, this is not the site I was looking for. Pandas patient. Let's see if this is the one. Yes, this is the one. Uh, okay. See, this is how a data frame is. Rows and columns. And this single row is being treated as a series. Okay. This is how a data frame looks. A simple Excel sheet. We have a row, we have a column, and this is our series is. A single column is my series. Gotcha. Okay. So, oh, let's get started. So what we will be, we are kind of using, we all use PD aliasing for pandas. Okay. So PD dot series is a function for creating an empty series. I created an empty series here. Okay. Its D type is float 64. The series is empty. Got it? Then we have an array of numeric array A, B, C, D, and of this numeric array, we are trying to create a series. So I think Akshay, you're seeing the thing which I said. Series are internally built of numeric arrays, as you can see here.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now many people must be thinking that we can build a series from list also and all. Yes, you can build from there, but see, whenever you will be doing computation, that computation will be done by treating it as a numeric array only. Okay. So we created a series here from this numeric array, a series of ABCD. This is my indexing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. D type is object. This is my content. Now what did I do? I gave it an index. It was having a by default index 0, 1, 2, 3, right? By default index of 0, 1, 2, 3. Now it is I am giving it an index of 100, 101, 102, 103. So I'm giving it a customized index of it. Okay. Now what did I do? I am creating a series from a dictionary. Okay. So in dictionary, what is happening is I am passing the index to be the keys of it. So as you can see, I have given the keys as this. And if you might be observing, D is not present into my data. D is not present into my data, and that is why it is your NaN. Okay. So here's one quick question: can anyone tell me the full form of NaN? NaN. What does NaN stands for? Don't Google it. Don't Google it. NaN. Great, great, great. Great, Dheeraj. Atul, not a number. Great. Okay. So that is NaN. Okay. Then I created a series of repetitive 5. I want 5 to be a constant value into my series. I created it. So this is how you create it. Okay. So here I'm kind of performing slicing operation on my series. I'm fetching the first three elements. Here I'm fetching the last three elements because I'm doing minus 3 indexing here. And here I'm fetching the single element. Here I'm fetching index wise elements. And if I don't have that index, it will give me a type. Okay, I think I was trying something else. Okay, but if that index is not here, it should give me an index error. Okay, that is how series is. Okay, now we will jump to data frame. So here I created an empty data frame. Okay, columns are empty, index is also empty. The other thing is here I have a list. I'm creating a data frame from that list. So as you can see, I have one column here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and these are the numbers here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the columns here. I'm printing the DF of it. Okay.
What is significance of that zero above and besides?
Yeah. So
Series start from
uh,
zero, right?
yeah. So it is like by default indexing. So the above zero is the column name. Okay.
Okay,
So
okay,
as
okay,
we have not passed column name here, so
okay,
by
okay,
default value is zero.
okay.
Okay. Indexing starts from zero
Zero,
here.
huh? That I that got it.
Okay. The Now what we are trying to do is we are now here you can see we have passed the column name. We have name and age here. So we have passed the column names. Okay, great. Now it's writing one and the same. Yes, one and the same thing, but I have here specifying the data type to be float. So as you can see, above the age was integer. Here the age is float. So here what you're seeing is here you're seeing different ways by which you can create a data frame. Here we created a data frame by using list of list. Okay, here we created a data frame by using a single list. Now here we are creating a data frame by using dictionary of list. Okay, simple as that.
Okay, so
So
just
okay,
hold those two things parallelly: list of lists and dictionary of list. Let people
okay,
analyze what is the difference between them, how it is, how we are opting them.
okay,
Means
okay,
even I
okay.
wanted to
So
go through it, how did this happen? List of list and
yeah,
dictionary of
sure.
list. Yeah, this one.
Dictionary of list.
Yeah, just a minute. Just hold it for 1 or 2
Just go
minutes.
through it. Whatever. So guys, can anytime
Yes, sir,
stop me like the way Akshay stop? Okay, yeah, yeah.
we are not able to see what we are supposed to.
Okay, okay. Sorry, sorry, sorry.
Uh,
I didn't change it. Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, so this is for everybody. Like Akshay sir was saying, if you face anything that it is going fast, please stop us, because see, these are things are really basic for Akshay sir. So since I'm not from AI, I'm from IoT and a couple of things on Python. So I can understand Python, but see, this is the something which I'm seeing for the very first time. I haven't used this Panda, right? So that's why it is something that even I need to understand. Okay, so I know you guys need to understand as well. So just try to message that. Just hold on for a second, or can you explain it again and like that thing. So do it. It is for your benefit, and we are here to serve you. But it is only possible if you ask. If you don't ask, we'll not be able to understand what is happening at your end. Okay. So let me just go through it, because I even I wanted to understand. Okay, what is happening? Okay, so data frame is
guys.
in inbuilt
Just
function, right?
yeah, yeah. Data frame is a function, and we are passing a data
The
to it,
data,
and
yeah.
yeah, and we have the columns parameter, as you can see,
Mhm.
name and age.
Okay,
So
okay,
those things are coming as columns name there. Name and
okay.
age is my column name.
So if
Then
on 45 in 45, so if I remove this column is equal to name and age, so column names will be 0 and 1, right?
yes,
Yeah, so can
yes,
we quickly see this thing, whether
yeah, sure.
our understanding is right or not? Okay, okay, fine. So if we do not provide any column name, then it will be 0 1 like that, right? Fine, perfect, perfect. And in the next example, since it's a dictionary, the keys are considered as a column name, right? Key,
Yes,
yeah, name is the
yes.
key and age is the key. Okay, and rest of them are values. Okay, fine. So, so what if we add one value in age and which is not there in name? So just add something in the age. So what will happen at name? Whether it will work? So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, value error. Okay, so it is not having any value, so it will give you error. Okay, so I don't know. So
They
I'm
must
just
be of the
trying.
same length. Yeah,
Okay, okay, fine. So it should be of same length, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Akshay. Any
Okay,
doubts,
so
guys? If you are having any doubts, please ask. If you want to try out something, yeah. What is the features of the pandas library and what is the pandas used for? Yeah, Akshay, sir, questions for you.
okay, okay. Sorry. Okay, what are the features of pandas library and what is pandas used for? Okay, so I'll first address your first question. What are the features of pandas library? So try to understand this thing that whenever in industry you will be having data in the form of tables, data in the form of tables. Okay, most of the data which we get from client, which data we export, they are in the form of CSVs, right? So we are getting the data in the form of rows and columns. Okay, now we want to process this data. We want to do many operations, like we want to see whether there are duplicates. We want to see uh, whether we have null values, or we want to see the distribution of the data. So these are different features which you can do by using pandas library. By features, I'm trying to explain you what can you do by pandas libraries. Okay, uh, okay, so these are the different things which are very which we can do from pandas. So what can we do from pandas? We can do the entire exploratory data analysis. So if you might have heard about data science pipeline. Okay, so the guys who might have heard about data science pipeline, the first thing which happens in a data science pipeline is we get the data and we clean the data. We kind of clean the data. After that, what we do, we kind of pre-process the data. We pre-process the data. After that, what we do feature selection. We do feature selection. After that, what we do, After that, when we are done with the features, we start applying a modeling techniques. Okay, so these three sections cover the 90% of the time, 90% time a of of a data scientist. These three tasks, and these entire three tasks are done mainly by pandas: cleaning, pre-processing, and feature selection. Now, under these three major features, we can have lots of features which a pandas can do. On a much more topper level, data cleaning, pre-processing, feature selection is done by the help of pandas. Okay, so done with your first doubt. The next doubt is, what is pandas used for? I think I kind of explained that thing also. Okay, so just ping me a yes, Kalyanwani, Kalyanwani. Sorry if I spelled it wrong. That would be helpful. Okay, great. Okay, so where were we? Basic functionalities. Yeah. Okay. So I think it's already 6:10. I think we should stop here. Let me see how much this section is. Can I cover it right now? Basic functionality will take time. Uh, Sorting. We have sorting. We have some standard deviation. Head tail. Okay, fine. Let's do one thing. Let's cover this basic functionality. So we'll be good with this section, and then later we can see what is the remaining section. Some of the basic things which we can do with Python. Sorry, with pandas. So what did I do is, with the help of a random library given by NumPy, I created random integers. Okay, and and from those integers, I kind of created a single column data frame. Okay, so this is my data frame which I created. Okay, these are random numbers. Okay, this is how the data frame, my data frame looks. Okay, so these are different functions which come with my data frame. Is data empty? No, it is false. It is not empty. What is the number of dimension? So here, okay, n dimension here. Okay, let's do one thing. We have values here. We have the size. So size is the number of rows, and n dimension. Okay, n dimension. I think it should have been one, but it is two. Okay, even I will have to see why it is two. But n dimension stands for the minimum number of dimension which the data is. Okay, but the other thing is size, that is 4, as we have 4 rows and we have the values. Okay, and it is empty, it is so that is false because it is not empty. So what is head used for? Head is used for what is head? It is the uppermost part of a table. Okay, so head kind of gives me from the upper section, it returns me some of the rows into my data frame. Okay, so if I give here 2, it will give me 2 rows, the upper 2 rows. Okay, by default the value in head which it returns is 5, but as we have only 4 entries here, that is why all the entries are being returned. Okay, but by default it is 5. You can increase it to 10, 15, and accordingly we will see the top 10 rows of our column, the top of the table, top 15 rows of the table. Okay, what is tail? That number of rows from below of the table. Okay, from below, uh, top 5 or top 10 rows from down. Okay, that is the tail. Okay, then here I created a data frame. I created a data frame. So as you can see here, I've created a data frame by dictionary of series, and this series is being created by using list. So name, age, and rating will be my column name, and these are my entries. Okay, these are my entries. Okay, so this is my data frame. Let's try to apply head and tail here. You will have much better understanding. So we should expect top 5 rows. So it has returned me top 5 rows. As you can see, Tom, Jimmy's, Ricky, Vicky, Steve, only top 5 are returned. Now by tail, I should expect 5 from below. So as you can see, Andreas, Verena, Grasper, David Lee from below. We have gotten 5. Okay. This is another function of sum. It will sum all the columns. So it has sum all the ages, all the ratings, and as we have string here, it has concatenated all these strings. Okay, name, concatenation, age, sum, rating, sum. Okay, standard deviation. So I hope you know what standard deviation is. Okay, the guys who don't know what standard deviation is, just try to understand. It is one of the metric used for understanding the dispersion of the data. Dispersion of the data. How much is your data dispersed? Okay, I'll give you a short example. Okay, so if I have data like 2, 4, and 6. Okay, sorry for a very bad handwriting here. 2, 4, 6. And if I have a data of your 1000, then I have your -4,000 and here have 60,000. So as you can see, the spread of the data here is less. The spread of the data here is much more, right? This data has the range of this data is more. Just try to understand it in a very layman way. Range is more. Okay, here the range is less. So it is just a metric used for studying the dispersion of the data. Okay, so how is standard deviation calculated? Standard deviation is actually the sum of the squares of all the elements from their mean. Sum of the squares of all the elements from their mean. So that is how standard deviation is calculated. Formula for standard deviation. So we have inbuilt function which helps us to calculate the standard deviation of the data. Okay, so okay, yeah. So here you can see this is the standard deviation formula. Sum of the squares, as you can see, sum of the differences of that element from its square. Okay, sorry, not from the square of the difference of that element from its mean. Sorry, my bad, very bad. Yeah, so and just try to understand formula. This is my data. This is 2, 4, 6, for example. I'll calculate the mean of it, that is 4. Fine. I'll calculate the difference of it. How 2 minus 4, 4 minus 4, 6 minus 4. I'll take the square of it. I'll take the sum of it, and that is being divided by the number of entries, and we take a square root of it. That is the standard deviation. So if you don't take the square root of it, that will be my variance. Okay, that will be my variance. So square root of variance is standard deviation. Okay, so but on an industry point of view, we kind of use these terms in a very layman way. Okay, so trust me, this is not a fixed formula for standard deviation. Trust me. In some of the books, it is just simply uh, subtraction of the elements from its means and its square, and we take the sum of it and the square root of it. Even that is called standard deviation. Okay, so that is how we see the spread of the data. Okay, so that is what standard deviation is. I hope I explained it. And we are calculating the standard deviation of age and of rating. Standard deviation of name cannot be calculated because it is a categorical field. Okay, it is a categorical field that uh, Akshay, you're unmuted. Okay, yeah. So that is how we calculate the standard deviation. Okay. Then what is mean? Mean is a simple average. Okay. Stating mean as average is wrong because Mean is much more than that, but currently we will just try to understand things. Mean is average. We have harmonic mean, we have geometric mean, we have arithmetic mean. Okay, so these are different kind of averages which we calculate. So mean is one of the technique for calculating the averages. That is how it is. But mean and these things are tell us about the central tendency of the data. Okay, standard deviation tells us about the dispersion of the data. Mean tells us about the central tendency of the data. Okay, then we will see sorting. So I created a simple data frame here of random numbers. We have indexes, we have columns. Okay, then what did I do? I have unsorted data here. Okay, I did sort by index. I sort by index. You can see the index is not sorted. It is not sorted. I did a sort by index. Now I have a sorted index. Okay, sort by index. Then I just passed the parameter ascending false, so it will give me sort by index in a descending fashion, 9 to 0, right? Then the next thing is sort by values by column 1. So we are not sorting it by the index, we are sorting it by the columns, by the values of the column. So column name, as you can see, negative are first and then we have zeros. So we are kind of sorting it by columns. Okay. So these are some of the basic functions which we use in pandas. Explore more functions on tutorial point and on official documentation. Okay. So these topics we will be covering in the later section. Later session it will get elongated a lot. Okay. So any doubt up till now?